What's going on, YouTube? This is your boy Carnell, the Tech Savvy Rider. Today is May 19th, 2018, about 2 o'clock or so at an estimated about 87 degrees. Today's topic: have you ever watched a motorlogger video while they was performing maintenance and asked yourself what type of tools do that person use, or what are the tools that that person is using, or even is going as far as asking what name brand tools do that particular motorlog use? Well, I can't speak about everybody else, but I can tell you some of the tools that I use for my maintenance doing while I'm working on my Goldwing. And then I'm gonna go into the tools that I purchased along the way, and the tools that I started out with. That'll be coming up next. Stay tuned. GoPro, stop recording. A tech savvy rider implemented new technology to modify his 2015 GL 1800 Honda Goldwing. That Goldwing later became known as Black Flash, an extreme lighting show bike. Okay, YouTube, as I was saying, this is going to be one of my maintenance videos. I'm not actually going to be performing any maintenance on my Goldwing right now, but this is the perfect time for everyone to start performing maintenance, especially if you own a Goldwing and you're getting ready to go to Wingding 40, which is in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is the perfect time to start working on your Goldwing, so it'll give you time to get all your parts, get all your accessories, get everything going, and then you have plenty of time to test it before the actual Wingding event. So to me right now, this is the perfect time. If you ever ask the motorlogger what type of tools do he use to work on his Goldwing or work on his motorcycle, or what brand of tools do he use, every motorlogger, every person, or every do-it-yourselfer that works on their own equipment, work on their own motorcycle, will actually tell you they do not have a particular name brand that they use to perform their maintenance, unless they are being sponsored by a particular company. Other than that, the first thing that will come out that person's mouth is, hey, I use an assortment of tools that I have collected throughout the years of me doing my own projects or do it yourself projects. Me personally, I'm a hands-on type of person. Everything from electronics all the way up to working on my own Goldwing. And the tools that I have accumulated throughout the years, was cheap as $1 and as high as $500 or so on a particular tool. Now, like I said, there's no exact so-called name brand that I associate with pulling maintenance or using the tools that I use to pull maintenance on my Goldwing, because like I said, this is a collection from throughout the years. What I'm gonna go over are the more expensive tools that I have collected. I'm not gonna go over every little piece of tool or hand tool or whatever. Just give you a general idea of what I got, and then I'm gonna go more into the tools that I actually started out using on my Goldwing. And you'll be surprised what I'm gonna tell you that I think is probably the most important tool when you're starting out to have for your Goldwing. So let's get started. I'm gonna detach the camera and bring it over here. So give me a second here and bear with me. Okay, people. These are all the tools that I have collected throughout the years. First, the more expensive tool is going to be my toolbox, which has an assortment of different tools that I have been collecting for years. No particular name brand, everything dealing from Stanley, Craftsman, Power Torque, all my torque wrenches, all of my air wrenches, everything that I have collected throughout the years is probably in my Stanley toolbox right there. That Stanley toolbox is detachable. Each piece comes apart and each section has its own tools in it. My next big expensive tool that I purchased was my air tank. The air tank, I said, you eventually you'll probably want to end up getting one, especially if you do your own do-it-yourself type of maintenance, like changing your tires or purchasing tires and you try to do them yourself or whatever the case may be. You might want to end up getting your own self a air tank. The air tank, roughly, the smaller versions, you can get them as cheap as $100, or they can get more expensive to the $300 to $500 range. The next tool that I had to get that I felt that was very important for me was my jack stand. This brand is made by J&S Jack. It's a jack stand for lifting the Goldwing. Of course, it has its own detachable portion for the Goldwing itself, but the J&S jack stand can be used for just about any motorcycle. To get more into detail, I did create a video on that particular tool about a year or so ago, so you can go and check out my J&S jack stand review that I create a video on. But it is a tool that I eventually learned that it was a tool that was a must-have for me. I needed it, so I went on and purchased it. Some more tools that I have got that I felt that was a necessity for me was my battery jump starter. It has the jump starter and the air pressure kit conversion on it, compressor on it, that I felt it's not only good for my motorcycle, but it's also good for all my other vehicles, because it was just real easy to get up in the morning and try to start one of my vehicles, and because of the change of weather, that particular vehicle battery was probably dead. So this became a necessity not only for my motorcycle but for the rest of my vehicles too. Handheld power tools. Eventually you're going to learn that, hey, after turning so many wrenches, no matter if you get the air drill or the air tools or the battery operated tools, eventually you're going to realize, hey, somewhere down the road you want it to be more convenient for you on using tools. And battery operated and air drill tools will come in handy later on for you down the road. So like I said, these are tools that you will eventually come across and try to purchase later on, but not starting out. My DC adapter, my AC DC adapter, if you're into electronics, you know exactly what this product is used for. But to make a long story short, it gives you the DC power connection that your motorcycle has, where you can test all your accessories on your motorcycle before you actually put them on your motorcycle. So this became a necessity tool for me. Real easy to use. You see the cable, the black and white, the black and red cable. Of course, it's your positive and negative. Everything that's be connecting to your fuse block on your Goldwing, you can test it out here on this station before you actually connect it. So this became a very handy tool for me. The battery tender, of course, is another tool that I simply say that it's a must-have, but not necessarily a must-have tool when you're first starting out. Because of course, if you're first starting out, you're most likely dealing with a brand new motorcycle, and having problems with your battery or trying to charge your battery overnight or during the winter is not going to be something that you're going to be trying to do automatically when you first get your motorcycle. But eventually, this is a very handy tool to have, and I do recommend getting it. And now all these tools I just went over are the more expensive tools. everything from all my torque wrenches, my wrenches in my toolbox, air wrenches, everything, jack stand, the air compressor, the battery charger. All these tools are tools that I eventually gained over the years as the years went by of me performing maintenance. Now what I'm gonna go over with you now is all the tools that I started out with on using on my Goldwing. And I'm gonna tell you, starting out, these tools helped me out so much. So I'm gonna get straight into it without holding you up. Okay, first thing first, this is your Hex Key Wrench. This tool right here, basically, it covers just about every hex screw on your Goldwing. And starting out, this was one of the first tools that I actually purchased for myself in order to work on my Goldwing. Now, after so many months of using this particular tool, what I didn't like about this tool was it was easy to strip the ends as I turned a bolt with this particular tool, especially one dealing with removing the seat. The end of it started coming out, it started stripping, and it became harder and harder for me to take out the bolts for my seat. So what I end up, and this tool is made, okay, it's made by Eklund. But what I end up replacing this tool with is the Hex Key Socket Wrench, and this is made by Power Torque. It's an assortment of hex keys that are on a socket set, and this became my main tool from all my hex keys ventures on my Goldwing. I started out with this one, and I ended up getting this one. This, to me, is the better choice. If I had known that from starting out, I probably would have started out with this. So that's why I'm sharing this information with you all. This particular set is made by Power Torque, and it's roughly about 10 bucks, I believe. And I'm gonna tell you, it is very good to go. The next tool that I want to bring up along with the hex key is the Starkey Socket. This is also made by Power Torque. This particular set covers all your star keys. It's about 3 or 4 star keys on your Goldwing. I think one is dealing with your front caliber, your brake line in the front, and I can't remember exactly where the other one is at. But it's only 1 or 2 of these particular sockets that I have used the whole time I done had these tools. And it's, like I said, it is very durable. It's made by Power Torque, and it'll also run you about another 10 bucks. Another tools that I want to bring up, when I first started out, of course, everybody's gonna need the regular Phillips screwdriver and the flat tip screwdriver. Starting out, you know, this is what I had to deal with. But as time went by and the more and more I worked on my Goldwing, this became my #1 tool for as my cross tip and flat tip. This is an assortment adjustable wrench with torque that gives you the flexibility of torquing your screws. So this became a more of a replacement for these 2 tools here. It comes with an assortment of different heads on the inside of a little circular box, and I think that ended up being about 10 bucks also. You're definitely going to need this bad boy here, especially if you're trying to get into changing your own oil. This is your oil filter, and I end up getting the one that has the filter wrench and the oil pan bolt tool. This is a very handy tool, and when you first change your oil, you'll be thankful that you got it, because believe it or not, that oil filter is not as easy as you think it's going to be. Next tools I want to bring up are your adjustable wrenches. Now, there's all different sizes of adjustable wrenches, but I found that the 6-inch adjustable wrench suited me for just about everything I need to use on my Goldwing. And I end up getting 2 of them for the simple fact Sometimes, you know, you need 2. I didn't bother to get anything over the 6 inch because there was no need for it. Another tool I found that was very helpful because I'm dealing with wiring on my bike is your wire cutters. This one is made by Craftsman, and I think it's about $4 or $5. If you're into wiring, this is definitely the tool to have, because it allows you to cut all different gauge wires and start laying them out when you start making connections on your Goldwing. Of course, you need all your different types of open and closed wrenches. There's an assortment for those. I have Craftsman, and I think Steelman, I believe. You're going to need all different sizes. So if you come across a set that you can get that have all your different sizes in it, no matter what brand it is, you're going to eventually come up with a collection that you're going to need. So I have my smaller tools inside, and my adjustable open end, close end wrenches with the different angles on them. Sometimes I need a different angle where I can't just go straight in and get it. So these came out very helpful for me. And most of all, I'm going to tell you, besides the breaker bar, you know, the breaker bar and your socket wrench, and it comes very handy when you first remove your tires and your wheels, off your Goldwing or off your motorcycle. It's going to be sometimes where you're going to have torque specs and dealing with this stuff, like dealing with your rotors, dealing with taking your wheels on or putting your wheels on or taking them off. You need torque specs, and you're definitely going to need your breaker bar or a torque wrench to get that torque spec right. So you definitely need that. Now, to me, believe it or not, these two right here are going to be the most, I'm going to say, to me, are probably the #1 tools to have for your Goldwing. The first one being is a digital tire pressure gauge. Man, this joker has saved me so much time and effort on trying to figure out my tire pressure on my in my tires. That's the #1 tool. And the #2 tools is going to be the valve stem wrench or the valve stem tool. Along with this and along with this tool, it comes in the valve stem wrench or the valve stem tool, whichever one you want to call it. It comes in different sizes. You got the one that actually just deal with the core of pulling the stem out, and you got the one that has the adjustable where you can, you know, pull the core out or deflate the tire, push it in the core so the air can come out. Whole 9 yards. No matter which one you get, these two items to me are the #1 thing to have for your Goldwing, and I'm gonna tell you why. One, if you're dealing with the OEM factory valve stems on your Goldwing, the one that has the 90-degree angle, for some reason on mine, every so often my tires would run flat. I would have brand new Bridgestone tires on my Goldwing, and a month or so later, my tires would actually be on flat. You know, when I go and try to put some air in the tires, I can hear the air coming straight back out the tire like it was a hole or a punctured hole inside the tire somewhere, on the tire somewhere. Come to find out, it was the core and the valve stem that came out, and I had to screw it back in. If you bought a brand new set of tires and wondered how that brand new set of tires end up tearing up on you or busting out or wearing out, and the first thing want to come out your mouth is, hey, I bought a set of bad tires. 9 times out of 10, you didn't. Most likely, if you're dealing with that 90-degree stem, you're dealing with the core that's coming out on you. And for some reason, like I said, on my Goldwing, I'm not talking about every 90-degree stem. The stem on my Goldwing, the core was coming out, and I would have to screw it back in to stop it, to stop the air leaks. So this became my #2 tool, where my air gauge became my #1. So I highly recommend getting you a digital air pressure gauge and get you a valve stem cover a valve stem wrench. These two items alone will save you so much time and effort, and probably tires, if you go ahead and get them right off the bat. So hey, these is a set of tools. I'm gonna make sure I point them out over to you real good. And this is the actual tools that I actually started out with on using on my Goldwing before I went over to the more expensive tools later on down the road. Now there's one other thing I want to show. This is not a tool, this is a box. This is the little toolbox that I keep all my tools in, that I put inside my trunk. Now, make a long story short, this is actually a cosmetic tool jewelry box that my wife had. And I saw it, I was like, man, that is the perfect fit to sit inside the trunk of my Goldwing. So of course, me being the crazy man that I am, I went to it, dumped out all her jewelry, laid them across the bed, and then brought it out here and stuck all my tools in it. And still to this day, that's been about a year ago, still to this day, she can't find this box. So just give y'all a heads up, this is what I use for to keep my tools in. Of course, it's tearing up now, so I'll be trying to find me another one. But a small toolbox like this fitting inside the trunk of the Goldwing is perfect to keep these type of tools in. And like I said, because these tools are tools that I use all the time, this size box is perfect. Other than that, YouTube, hey, I hope y'all enjoyed my little time. That's all I got for you. That's my spiel for the day, YouTube. Y'all have a good one. GoPro. Oh yeah, hey, tell me some of the tools that you use. What are some of the tools that you use for your Goldwing? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section below. And please subscribe to my channel. The more subscribers I get, the better off. It helps me bringing in more content because I know people are looking for it. So hey, help me out. Subscribe to the channel. Leave me some comments and let me know what tools that you use for your Goldwing and the tools that you keep on your Goldwing. Let's help each other out. And that's my spiel for the day, YouTube. Y'all have a good one. GoPro, stop recording.